The setting, Boston, Massachusetts. As we take a look at the lovely skyline of downtown. We are live from Boston for an Eastern Conference contest with the Celtics. The Pacers will play just this one game on the road before returning back to Indiana. There's no question this game will put them to the test. Facing off against a team that has every expectation of beating them, they'll need to play a complete game to snare a win.
I think for the Pacers, they performed at a level well below what I thought they were capable of. I mean, I expected a much, much better showing out of them.
You're not the only one who thought that, Clark. I mean, even if they weren't going to be an elite team, I think most people felt they would at least be competitive and solid, but they are really struggling.
And now the opening lineup for Indiana, courtesy of State Farm. George, Granger, and Landstar, 2 through 4. Roy Hibbert is out there with George Hill. And for the Celtics, Rajon Rondo and Avery Bradley out there in the backcourt. Garnett out there with Green, and it's Pierce in at the small forward position. Garnett kicks to Green, puts it up, no good. So the Pacers will take it the other way. First chance of the season for them to go up against this Celtics team.
But we saw how competitive and entertaining the season series was between these two teams last year. That was fun to watch.
Now here is Hill. Back to Granger. Lock at 6. Good, and it's Hill picking up the assist. Granger's got his team on the board to start the game for the Pacers. We've got 1:18 left to play in the first. Green kicks to Garnett. Puts it up. Goes up and lays it nice and easy. And they match up really well.
Kevin, they really do. Sometimes it comes down to the X factor when these two teams play. And really, it could go either way. They're that evenly matched.
Now, here is Hill. Granger with the screen for Hill. Dishes it to Granger. It's stolen by Rondo. For the finish. Hammers it home. The power shot the break.
Costly mistake at the other end to set up that fast break.
That's what you want to do after a turnover. Push the ball up the floor and strike quickly.
Hill against Trump. Hill kicks to Granger. Takes the 3. And it's Bradley with the rebound. Looking at the last game for the Indiana Pacers, it was a win against the Washington Wizards.
And Kevin, that was an outstanding win. To get it the way they did in overtime made it that much sweeter, I think.
I agree, and I think most people probably thought that once they couldn't win it in regulation, that they had missed their best shot and overtime wasn't going to go their way. But give them credit for pulling it out.
16 seconds left in the first quarter. Outside, George feeds it to West. Working on Garnett. As passes to Hibbert. And it's stolen by Green. Here's Bradley. No luck. And so the first quarter is in the books. Celtics out in front. They
Tune in next Sunday. Kevin Durant and the Oklahoma City Thunder go up against the Toronto Raptors. Don't miss it.
Second quarter getting ready to start up. When you consider how the Celtics are doing, Steve and Clark, your thoughts?
Just the start they wanted to this game. Solid offense. They got good ball movement. Established a nice rhythm.
Yeah, not stagnant at all. Free-flowing and fluid at the offensive end.
And a chance here presented by Gatorade to see who's on the floor. All fueled up and ready to go for the start of the second quarter. On the court right now for the Celtics. Terry is the 2 with Paul Pierce at the 3. Wilcox is out there with Brandon Bass. And it's Barbosa in at the point.
You know, throughout the history of the NBA, the Celtics have been such a constant presence in the postseason, and it's hard to imagine the playoffs without seeing the green. Every year the players change, but the Celtics mystique is always in it, and that team is always hanging around.
Outside Terry, and that one's good. Terry's got himself on the board with 3 there.
Big mistake not having more defensive pressure on him out there.
And Augustine kicks to Mahinmi. The pass to Augustine over Bass. Here's Hansbrough. He dents the rim with a 2-handed slam. Wow.
Simply said, a tremendous rebound and a tremendous dunk.
T-square. He was a man possessed right there.
Yep, that's the kind of energy that you always get from him night after night.
Barbosa dishes to Pierce.
How about the soft hands right there to make that catch and lay in?
Not sweet. Yeah, not the most forceful finish, Clark, but on an alley-oop, it's usually a little bit more strength.
Yeah, Jim was okay.
Yeah, that was nice, too. That was a finesse finish that got the job done.
Augustine against Barbosa. Hansbrough, a screen on Barbosa. They set the pick. 6 on the shot clock. Here's George. Stevenson kicks to Mahinmi. Kicks it to Augustine. And there's the 3-second violation. And some changes here for the Pacers. Here is Rondo. 5-point lead, the biggest of the game. West with the steal. Here's Hill, and it's blocked. Out of bounds. Pacers ball as Indiana keeps possession. There's 10 seconds left to play here in the half. They get it back. Gerald Green. 6 seconds left now here in the second. Rondo kicks to Collins. With 2 seconds left. It is good. The assist from Rondo. Close game as we wrap up the second quarter. Your Celtics lead by 5. 13. Folks, stick around here at halftime for the halftime show at Damon Bruce for all the highlights from our first half.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
And welcome to halftime, everyone. Great one underway in Boston. Boston leading against Indiana. With their winning streak, this team is playing with a whole lot of confidence right now. Through 2 quarters, their offense has been simply unstoppable. Bucket after bucket after bucket after bucket after bucket, you get it. Rajon Rondo making his presence felt early. Jeff Green's also been getting it done. And no shortage of desire from the Pacers side of things. And defensively, they've done a good job grabbing rebounds, limiting second chances. A valuable contribution so far by Tyler Hansbrough. They've got some great production out of Danny Granger as well.
The third quarter now beginning. Both sides looking to pull away in the last half of the game.
Well, it's interesting. Indiana is known for being a hotbed of basketball. And in recent years, the Pacers have not drawn well. In large part because I didn't think their teams were very likable. But that's changed. The current Pacer group is a hard-working, unselfish team. And I think they're fun to watch.
On the court right now for the Pacers. Tall bunch at 2, 3, and 4. George Granger and West. George Hill out there with Roy Hibbert. He kicks it to Bradley. Back to Rondo. Celtics passing it around. Shot clock at 6. Again, the Celtics good for 2. The unselfishness you mentioned, Steve, with this Pacers group, they really play team basketball, and they look out for each other.
And, Kevin, a big part of it is they don't really have a superstar that they're built around. They are just a good collection of good to outstanding players, and they're all willing to defer in order to get the win.
That's a great quality.
Yep.
And David West gets the whistle that time. That is his first foul of the game. And some changes here for the Celtics. Brandon Bass is checked in for Green. And it's Lee in for Paul Pierce. So an entirely new group in now for Indiana. Mahinmi's checked in for Hibbert. Young comes in for David West. Green, he's checked in for George. And DJ Augustine subbed in for George Hill. It's stolen by Bradley. Here's Rondo. Throws down the breakaway jam.
You let him get to the rim, and that That's exactly what's going to happen. You deserve that.
And he's more than capable, you're right, Clark, of providing some great highlight reel material.
Yes, sir.
And for a point guard to finish like that, I mean, that is just special.
Knocks it loose. It's stolen by Rondo. By himself. And finished off by Bass.
Man, offensive execution has been the story here. Just playing beautiful basketball.
And guys, you can see it in their advantage in field goal percentage. I mean, you get high quality shots, you're usually going to shoot well. They're playing outstanding basketball.
So the Pacers call timeout, their first of the game.
Yeah, he's trying to take the wind out of their sails. They're on the wrong end of a bad run. They got to sort things out.
I think things were very close to spiraling out of control if he didn't burn one there.
Jeff Green, he's checked in for the Celtics. Pierce comes in for Courtney Lee. So an entirely new group in now for Indiana. Roy Hibbert's checked in for Mahinmi. West comes in for Sam Young. Paul George, he's checked in for Green. And George Hills subbed in for Augustine. Solid play in the low block, and that one's good. Bradley's got 6 here in this quarter.
You know, Kevin, they were a step late on their defensive rotation, and that helped them get right to the rim.
As passes to George. Inside to Hibbert. West, headed by Green. Gets it to go. West has got his second bucket of the night.
Well, none of the defenders were quick enough to step out and get a hand in his face on that jump shot. Big mistake there.
You really got to be exactly on the same page to connect on that long alley-oop.
And even then, it's a tough play.
Yeah, the pass and the catch, both next to impossible. They pulled it off.
And as we end the third quarter, a double-digit deficit will make it tough.
Tune in next Wednesday. Dirk Nowitzki and the Dallas Mavericks take on Chris Paul and the Los Angeles Clippers. Make sure to catch it.
As the fourth quarter gets going, let's swing it over to Doris Burke to find out who's had the Sprite uncontainable game. Doris?
Guys, well, it was the stretch by the Celtics that garners the uncontainable game today. They put together a very strong push as soon as the game tipped off, and they haven't let up once as they've really put together the kind of game a coach dreams of as they head now to the fourth period.
Thanks, Doris. And guys, when you can put together that sort of streak that builds the momentum in a big way for your team, it's something.
Always, Kevin. I mean, it's impossible for a stretch like that not to influence the outcome of the game.
You know, when you're on the wrong side of a run like that, there's not a whole lot you can do. We'll see soon enough if that's indeed what makes the difference today.
Bradley and Pierce go on the wings. Garnett out there with Green, and it's Rondo in at the 1 spot. That's who's in the game for the Celtics. Granger dishes to West. It's stolen by Green. Lobs it up there. Tipped. Outside Hill. Here's George. Good, and it's Hill picking up the assist. Hill's got his 3rd assist on the night.
Nice touch near the hoop.
Rondo drives in. Garnett, Pierce, defended by George. Garnett kicks to Bradley. For 3, Pierce. And again, Boston with the triple.
6 points in short order. 2 straight from deep. That's what can happen with the 3 ball.
Yep, and got it going. Nice, clean looks.
Hill kicks it to West. Kevin Garnett grabs the miss. Last game for the Celtics, they pick up the win against Memphis.
And with the success they had from behind the arc in that game, you knew they were going to be in good shape.
Yeah, especially with that kind of long-range shooting. I mean, that's difficult for a team to overcome.
Outside, Pierce. Back to Garnett. Pass to Rondo. Granger with the defensive effort. Pacers have gone 1 of 3 from the field to start the fourth quarter. Open shot, George. They grab their own miss. Augustine passes to West. Excellent D there from Pierce. Now here's Bradley. Back to Pierce. He dishes it to Rondo. Here's Green. Boston again missing.
That's a look that they never pass up, when they'll usually never miss.
And so it's Boston easily grabbing this one. Some days, Clark, everything goes right for a team, and they just had one of those games.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, these guys played a great all-around basketball